It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there today. Now, in this video, we're going to be getting into DJ Miss Milan. If you are not familiar with DJ Miss Milan, she is Doechii's DJ. All right. Once upon a time, she used to also work as Saweetie's DJ. All right. And she came out today and had some choice words for Joe Budden. Now, Joe Budden on the podcast, he decided to, in the middle of a conversation, throw Doechii into the mix and basically alluded to the fact that she hasn't been releasing a lot of music as of late, and basically saying, does anybody find it strange that we haven't been hearing from Doechii right now? And do y'all think that this is linked to the time that we're in? Now, for me, when I hear that, and I'm going to play the actual audio clip of Joe Budden saying this, is I believe that he's trying to make the inference that due to the Drake lawsuit, I'm going to just go ahead and come out with it. I think he's talking about the Drake lawsuit. And of course, the allegations of that lawsuit about bots, stream botting, potential chart, manipulation, cutting deals in the industry to get an artist ahead, things of that nature. I think he's basically trying to say she's an industry plant and that she's receiving these benefits from her association with TDE and that they're doing these things. Now, what I find to be very interesting about him making such an inference is that for the most part, he speaks highly of TDE. He talks about them being his folks over there. He actually interviewed Doechii last year on the very Joe Budden podcast, where everybody smiled in her face, talked about how good the music was, had questions for her. She addressed everything head on. But now we hear a different tone. You know what I'm saying? When Alligator Bites Never Healed came out, I believe she did an interview with them before it even dropped. I think they were one of the first to hear the music. So I wonder what changed in that time period. Now, do I think that Joe Budden should not be able to be critical of Doechii or have an opinion about Doechii? Absolutely. Right? We're in the commentary space. We talk about hip hop. That is what comes with it. Sometimes you're going to agree with something. You're going to disagree with something. You're going to like something. You're not. But I think there's also certain things that are just like, come on, bro. Really? Especially looking at it from the artist perspective as somebody who's giving you the time, the conversation, the opportunity to feel their energy in the room, to create a rapport of respect. This is why Cardi B had an issue with Joe. She always felt like they had a good rapport. But then in recent years, when her name comes up, there seems to be some level of disdain toward her or some sort of, weird references or shots towards negativity that she's like, yo, I thought we were good. I'm not saying you got to kiss my ass, but you be saying some out of pocket stuff in my direction and then think we supposed to be fly when I hear about it or when I see you. Now, of course, Doechii, for the most part, she doesn't come out and say anything. She's currently on tour. She's been on tour all year. If the Joe Budden podcast cared to do the research on that, and I won't even say the Joe Budden podcast, I'll say Joe specifically because he's the one that brought it up. If he cared to do the research or even looked on Twitter because he spends a lot of time on there, he would know that, right? But nonetheless, let's go ahead and play the clip, and then I will go into what Doechii's DJ, Miss Milan, had to say, because, of course, Doechii is not going to say anything, but Miss Milan, she's going to step. This ain't the first time.
And fishy, ain't nobody heard from Doechii?
Yo. It's about what?
I knew you would say that.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. We can find another topic. Yeah, please. I was just asking y'all.
I don't know what the Context is.
I don't know either.
Just
What the industry playing shit?
move right along.
Yeah, moving
Moving right along.
Okay.
I'm Parks. It ain't tripping me out.
I don't know why you asked that question.
Because I thought it would be a little more obvious than it is, but I guess it's not yet. But it's kind of obvious.
So Dirk is in the news again.
Yeah, man.
All right, so the entire room didn't know what the fuck Joe was talking about. He thought he was getting something off. Nobody else made the connection that he was trying to lob out there. And so then he proceeds to say, I don't know either. I don't know what I'm talking about. Right? So as I stated in the beginning, I feel like he's referencing the Drake lawsuit and basically saying that she's laying low because people are looking into these bots, the chart manipulation, all of these different things, right? Now, do I believe that to be true? No. If that were to hold true, then somebody's going to have to come confiscate Doechii's platinum plaque for Alligator Bites Never Heal, because it's been moving units ever since. I think she had the lowest debut last year, and then she had a lot of organic growth in the past 8-9 months. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what Joe's talking about or what he's thinking that he's getting off. And apparently the rest of the cast wasn't rolling either. Now let's get into DJ Miss Milan and her responses to Joe. So Miss Milan says, Joe, you snapping turtle head ass bitch. Holy shit. When it start off like that, you know it's about to get good. She say, Joe, you snapping turtle head ass bitch. You saw and heard of her all year. Grammys, Glastonbury, which she headlined. Lollapalooza, which I believe she also headlined. Just this weekend, Austin City Limits. And now, on her own sold-out tour, which is starting this week, what's obvious is that she is working clearly. Okay? So she's been touring all year, right? For the better part of the year. For the last probably 5 months or so, she's been on the road. She went viral for the Tiny Desk performance. She went viral at the Glastonbury performance where she introduced the school of hip-hop that she's been doing, which I think is one of the best shows in hip-hop right now, doing her songs, introducing interludes with classics, paying homage to the Wu-Tangs, the Slick Ricks, the Jay-Z's, the Nas's, all these different artists, while intertwining it with her shit, while going out there rapping Nissan Altima without missing no fucking words. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's not the person to really be targeting. She's one of the best performers that we have. She's selling shows out, headlining major festivals that artists that have been in here longer than she has won't even headline. And if they had the opportunity to headline, they damn sure wouldn't be putting on as good of a show. So I understand the vitriol there, but there's more. She says, what's obvious is that he had no talking point and wanted to stir up some bullshit, and I'm glad everyone left him on that hill alone, stupid ass nigga. You know how this shit goes from first person view as a former artist, like the fucking nerve. Now, Joe was, and I like Joe's music. Joe was an artist. The difference is Joe didn't tour like that. He toured, but not to that extent, not to that level. I think Slaughterhouse was the height of his touring career. As a matter of fact, if you pay attention to the Joe Budden story, the last tour that he did solo is also the straw that broke the camel's back on his rap career, because he knew that he wasn't going to be able to continue if he wanted to elevate his life. Okay? She continues. She says, when she was finally being mentioned and seen everywhere after wanting her to finally get some recognition, you same people then complained about her being an industry plant. Now she's silent. She's still a plant. Do y'all notice how dumb y'all are? So at one point it was, Doechii's next up. Doechii needs to be the one. Doechii's the one. Doechii's next up. Doechii. And then once she actually gets to that mark where people start to accept that Doechii is everything that she is, the industry made note of it and said, oh, let's book her. Grammy performance was one of the best performances of this year, outshining industry vets. So again, to act like it's without merit is pretty crazy. I knew she was a star from the first time I saw her. When I saw her on Jimmy Fallon, she performed crazy. She performed Persuasive. The Persuasive record was already going viral online at the time. That was my introduction to her. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this song? I'm hearing it on all, like, I knew it was going because all the cool chicks that I've known in Atlanta over the years, they was using it at the time. And they was like popping like the hosts and different stuff. And I'm like, what is this song they keep using? So I'm like, all right, let me see what this is. And then finding out later, like, oh, she sung that song, but she rapped too, which she's kind of melodically rapping on the song as well, kind of on a Goldlink flow. But from the time I was introduced to her, I was like, yeah, she definitely next. Like, there was no hesitation. You could go back two years on my channel and see what the fuck I had to say about Doechii the whole time before everybody else really came around. Anyway, there's more. So, in Phoenix says he had Doechii on the podcast, which I already stated, when Alligator Bites came out telling her how amazing it is. This new narrative he trying to spin is crazy. Milan says, exactly. You didn't have to listen, but you did, and gave your honest criticism on it, and even had her on it to tell her to her face. Now you're trying to stir up industry plant allegations, a nigga in this industry himself. There's more. Flynn Hindle says, not to mention, she will join Kendrick for Grand National Tour in December. Let's not forget that part. But it's obvious they don't really witness it. Milan says, opening up for the biggest rapper currently, but she's okay. Oh, okay, LMFAO, bye. Oh, you thought Milan was done? Nah, she don't play no games. She comes back. Anyways, press is press. Thanks for the promo. Can't expect people to always have positive things to say, and that's fair too. The game is the game. She was beginning to cool it off. But then I believe she comes back. Yeah. She says, and I really hope those weren't threats of any kind, which I don't know necessarily where he was alluding to any sort of threat. She says, we can all have opinions until we calling out bullshit. Now I got to watch myself. So I don't know. maybe there was something else that she heard. But she said, all right, now I'm watching you, but I got to watch myself. Then she says, anyways, let's get back to the program of putting positivity out there. And she pretty much signed off, which I'm quite sure she's getting ready for the next show. Because I believe, wasn't Doechii just on stage last night? Austin City Limits, right? Or was that the night before? Was that Saturday night? I know that they're going to be in Atlanta for One Music Fest, which is going to be a big deal. They've had the alligators already at the park, at Piedmont Park for months. Remember they did that rollout with the alligators outside the different venues, letting people know that she was coming. So it's crazy that an artist that actually is intentional about their marketing, is actually putting effort into how they roll their project out. You know what I'm saying? Put their heart and soul into a project and worked that motherfucker, could be called an industry plant. It's crazy to me. The same artist who, when she put the songs I was just talking about, Persuasive and Crazy, out, she also had the opportunity to go open up for Doja Cat and work that music. So this is a formula that she's been using since before everybody was really on what she's, on her wavelength. Doja was already on her wavelength, which is what allowed her to go on tour. Her being a brand new fucking artist, Doja said, you inspire me. You know what I mean? So the people that know already know what's up. Now, again, do I believe that Joe Budden should have free reign to have his opinion? Absolutely. But again, as somebody who booked her to come up on your show, I don't know if that was a favor to TDE or if that was something you really wanted to do or what, you know what I mean? But y'all was literally on her jock about how fantastical the project was in her face and telling her that she deserved all the praise and all the accolades and all the everything. And once she actually starts walking into those very things you say that she should have, it's funny that you start to say, well, let me question how you got it. That's interesting. All right. And Andy, you know we love you, but please, this isn't the time to come in here and try to say Doechii is the one who's loved because she's backed by men and all of this stuff. There's not a single female artist in rap today that's not backed by men, co-signed by men. That does not make Doechii's situation special. She is the most talented out of all of them, multi-talented, because she can rap with the best rappers, she can sing with the best singers, she can perform with the best performers. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. And when people take note of that, it has nothing to do with TDE. TDE is a big help, but she could have been on Yo Gotti's label. She could have been on QC. She could be on anybody's label. If she brought her same everything to the table, she would be in the very same place. And I stand behind that. And I'm not trying to single you out, but typically when we get on these Doechii conversations, that comes up in the chat. Now, since we're on the subject of Joe Budden and the Joe Budden podcast, there's also another viral clip that's going around from the Joe Budden podcast. I don't feel like doing a separate video, therefore we're going to address it here because I don't, Inside the Industry is not a Joe Budden podcast recap channel, although there are many out there that do that, and salute to those that do. But that's not the primary focus over here, so we're going to just address it here. So apparently, Mark Lamont Hill and Queen's Flip got into it recently on the Joe Budden podcast. Now, Mark Lamont Hill and Queen's Flip, they've had a little bit of, chippiness between them for a while. Flip is chippy with everybody on the podcast, though. So I just find it interesting that he chose to really escalate the situation with Mark coming in to, Mark getting a job up there. He wasn't my favorite person. But I feel like he's done a really good job of opening up and showing more layers to himself. I've actually warmed up to Mark Lamont Hill quite a bit in the in the time that he's been with them. The more clips that I've seen circulating and just him articulating himself in the midst of these other people on the pod. He's one of the few people that tries to come in at least a little bit brushed up on the topics, except for music related ones, because he's not really he's a music guy. Of course, that we all like music, but he's not a music guy in terms of like his proximity to the industry. He knows people, he's friends with people, but this isn't like his bread and butter. But nonetheless, basically, Queen's Flip was in his feelings, and he began to lash out on Mark Lamont Hill. He feels like Mark Lamont was basically saying that he's overpaid or he doesn't really bring much to the pod. Because I think there was kind of an undertone of that in something that Mark Lamont said. But to be fair, at the Joe Budden podcast, this is a frequent conversation of who's bringing what to the table. They talk about contract negotiations and renegotiations all the time. Flip being the person that introduced that level of conversation to the show. Flip constantly brings personal conversations and personal issues that he has with other castmates on the show. And if he doesn't speak on them directly, he alludes to them, makes a joke, and then when everybody engages with it, they try to move it out the way. It's on the table, then it's off the table, which creates friction. And then it creates speculation among the viewers. So Queen's Flip stirs the pot a lot. He stirs it with Joe. Him and Ish had an issue at one point, pun intended. He had a contentious relationship with Melissa Ford while she was there. You know, some days she would be cis, other days he would be trying to call out her boundaries or things that she didn't want to speak on or dive deeper into. So now it's him and Mark. And Mark is not backing down. You know, this is a comfortable environment for him. This isn't CNN. This isn't The Onion or, you know, other platforms that he's been on. So he gets to be a little bit more of himself. And now we see he's giving pushback like, yo, just because you the pseudo street nigga in the room, don't think everybody else is a pushover. So let me go ahead and play the audio clip of things escalating here. And again, I always tell y'all JBP clips are only audio.
Because I don't want people, because people will hear that and think I do that.
Well, I don't know if you do it, but
Do you have any reason to think I do that?
I don't know.
Do you have any reason to think I do that? Is what
I
I
don't
said.
know because you just said that. You said you cracking a joke with Joe. Like, oh,
But you cracking a joke with Joe?
I don't know. Listen, what I'm trying to tell you.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
This is what I'm trying to tell you.
I think the people need to see this show.
Hey, here you got. Oh,
Yeah, we about-
my God.
Hey, guess what? It's going out.
It's going out.
And
so
what's
I'm
the
going
difference
out.
between
But
what
Moses,
I did, what we
The
did
second
last
y'all
week?
just want to care about what people shouldn't see.
And here's the boss of the show being unprofessional, saying it's going out. So as Imani tried to de-escalate the situation and question whether or not this is a conversation that needed to be had on mic, Joe Budden sits there and encourages it while you can't see, but he's looking at his phone. So he's saying, if it's brought up on the mic, then it's going to go out on the mic. This was his opportunity to quell it, but for ratings and for virality, he let it go. Then when it really gets out of hand, he tries to reel it back in.
Then shut up.
Then don't say
this
it. Right.
is going out.
I'm comfortable with everything I'm saying.
This is going right out.
I love you, Flip.
I love you too.
FedEx too.
But no, I don't backbite. Hey, as a matter of fact,
next to it, separate shit.
UPS, here's the tracking link.
As a matter of fact, you know I don't. Because whatever you've ever told me, you know ain't never come out. And whatever ever happened that I witnessed to, I ain't never said shit about.
Yeah,
like,
nigga,
even
what?
when I,
We kept your
I'm not
secrets,
gonna,
nigga.
I'm not going to say it because then I'd be saying
Yeah, we kept your secrets.
That's all I'm going to say.
What
And
secrets?
can't nobody up here say nothing different.
What
Your
secrets?
secrets.
We kept your secrets, boy.
What secrets?
We know your secrets.
I'll tell you off air. I'm not even going to allude to it on air
That's
because I don't
loyal.
move that way.
See, this is loyal.
That's not loyal.
Not that shit you do. This lawyer ain't gonna
That's
blow
not
you up in
loyal.
front of
That's not
millions, nigga.
Please, what you talking about?
No, and to be clear for the
You
ones, it ain't
talking
nothing personal with it. Ain't about personal life. I don't want to make it sound like that because I want people to think
Oh,
I'm.
you talking about anything that I tell you, niggas? Anything that happened, I can talk about.
And it's for you to talk about. What I'm saying is I won't.
So anything that
I'm saying
anything
I
that,
won't.
so if you allude to it, because you say a lot of tricky words.
No, I don't. I
So
say regular
be
words
direct.
that's tricky to you.
Tricky words,
you can
funny
do-
as
that's
shit.
that's another thing you do, right?
Like, my nigga, you
I love that shit there. That nigga said, I don't speak tricky. I say regular words. That's tricky to you. Now, of course, Mark is supposed to be like the intellectual on the pod. Flip, a lot of times, comes off as the very antithesis of that. He says a lot of janky words that don't really pertain to what it is that he's trying to convey. He always does this little thing, let me ask you a question, where he's like prodding for explanations that are not needed. Then he just does a lot of yelling. Like I said, he picks little quarrels with each castmate. Little dumb shit. I don't like Flip on the podcast. Respect to Flip, but I don't like him. I never liked him on the podcast. But now you see, he's like, you say tricky words and stuff. Basically saying you try to overspeak us, and then you try to use words thinking that we don't use them, that we don't understand them. And Mark is like, yo, I'm just speaking. If it's tricky to you, then that's a personal problem in so many ways. You know what I mean? Which, good Lord, I've had to deal with a lot of that on this channel. Some people be misinterpreting my words. They skip over foundational pieces of my statements just to get to their point. When if they would have taken the meat that they skipped over, their answer was right there. But you know, it happens. It's part of the game. Communication.
You the busiest man in the world. You spend 1,000 hours trying to communicate and speak to people to be accepted
That's
by
our
people
job.
that this community, that this nigga built through the community. I don't need to do
That's
that.
our
my
job.
nigga. I believe in myself.
And he's contradicting himself because before Mark even became a part of the cast, who was spending most of their time in the Joe Budden community on Spaces? Queen's Flip. Queen's Flip. And he still spends a lot of time in the Joe Budden community on Spaces. I see this stuff on Twitter all the time. They go viral all the time for their little conversations because they have, they expound on certain topics that they may pass over on the pod. So I find it very interesting that he's accusing Mark of that, which Mark does spend time in the community, but a lot of the times it be rooms that Queen's Flip is either co-hosting or is also a co-speaker in. So I just find it very interesting that he says he don't need to do that when he's been doing it longer.
Our job is to come up here and work and show and put our best foot forward.
And that's what I do.
That's our job. Plus, do other shit behind the scenes.
You mean like promote the show?
To try to win favor. You try to win favors.
You mean like fan engagement?
You try to win favors.
All right, you're
period. To me, you try to win favors.
With the fans?
And then on top of that, even if you do win
they're
favors.
the fans, they're our audience, Flip.
Even if you do win favors, you try to point out everything.
I also feel like Flip feels some type of way because there's another show on their Patreon, the Mark and Ian show, or the Ian and Mark show. For those that don't know who Ian is basically the head producer of the show, Joe's business manager, and him and Mark Lamont Hill have a side show together, kind of like on some Curb Your Enthusiasm type shit. And Flip, he had a show, Improper Improv that they were doing that ended up getting canceled. And now Mark has a show that's not canceled. I feel like there's some energy there because of that too. It just sounds like he's insecure about his spot. I don't know how much longer Queen's Flip is going to be up there because he keeps bringing this type of energy to the show. Unless Joe just wants to keep having this type of stagnant conversation and altercations on the show. This escalates to a fight invitation too. Got 2 more minutes.
Everything else that nobody do. That's sucker shit to me.
When do I do that?
You try to point
out. Don't call me a
sucker
sucker no more. Don't call me a 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 sucker no more.
That's sucker shit. I'm not calling you. I'm saying that's sucker shit. I can take that. I'm not calling you. I'm saying that's sucker shit. You're not a sucker, but that's sucker shit.
And I'm telling you, you say that sucker shit, I take it like you saying it to me. So I'm saying.
What I'm saying.
Let's do this. Let's both calm down. No.
Stop doing that.
No, I'm saying let's both calm down. Let's both calm down. Because I'm telling you right now, the way you talking to me, I'm taking a different way. So let's both calm down.
So what does that mean, though?
I'm saying let's talk like brothers.
You don't gotta say that.
I'm saying
because what you.
This is also something that Queen's Flip has said in the past to other people. I just find it to be hilarious that he don't like getting a taste of his own medicine. He's told people repeatedly not to say certain things toward him. He's repeatedly said, "Don't touch me." When Joe kind of like taps him on the shoulder while he's talking and stuff, like he continuously uses little quips and stuff to intimidate others, and not necessarily intimidate, but like to back people down. But then when he receives it, he don't know how to take it. Which, again, not much of a surprise.
And you ain't gotta say that sucker shit. So I'm saying let's
You're
both
not a sucker, but I said the behavior, the act of
then we good.
Shit to me.
Then we good. Then we good. Now let's get back to the show.
But that's why you saying that?
Because when you say that sucker shit, that I take that as disrespectful.
And
I take that as to me.
Don't like sucker.
To me. So I'm trying to tell you.
But there's a lot of shit you say to niggas that we take disrespectful. But for the
and there's a lot of shit you say that I take disrespectful. Nigga, I'm not gonna talk about it on air because I'm not you.
I'm afraid.
So at the end of the day, I'm not you. This is what you do, and then I'm gonna leave the shit alone. No, fuck that. No, Imani,
Mark said fuck. So now Mark is in his bag. He like, you think I'm a back down, nigga? Fuck that. You calling me a sucker? Nigga, I'm from Philly, nigga. Fuck what you heard. I honestly never thought I'd see the day they get Mark Lamont Hill on level 100. Maybe level 10, maybe 20. Not 100. You know how fed up a nigga got him? Not fed up as in he's gonna leave the show, but just fed up with your bullshit.
I'm not potting. I'm not potting.
I know.
Nigga, don't fucking stand. What the fuck is you doing?
Can you grab him?
Nigga, do you want? Are we talking or we potting?
Y'all are making.
We can talk outside or we can pot. Then let's talk outside.
Mark and Flip.
No, Joe.
Now Joe wants to jump in.
Mark and Flip. It's not fucked
No,
up.
every time you get mad, you talk to niggas like they pussy and they not.
I didn't call you pussy.
No, you call me a fucking sucker. That's the same shit. Let's talk outside. Stop, Mark. I'm not trying to draw. Let's just talk outside.
We can't talk outside.
They can talk outside.
No, y'all can talk outside. No, y'all.
I'm talking to this man outside.
Not outside. You're not in this hallway. Not in this hallway. You're not. Yeah, y'all take that shit up to a project block or somewhere. Yeah.
Now this clown ass nigga talking about some take it to a project block. You encourage the conversation, it gets heated, and now you saying, oh, take that to a project block somewhere. This if this ain't the most Vince McMahon shit I've seen in a minute. Boy, I tell you.
What are y'all talking about?
Let's pod. That's what I said. This is all fucking dumb shit. If we pod, no, we.
Now get the fuck off.
Exactly. Let's pod.
Y'all can't scare my new.
So now you talking about some y'all can't scare my new neighbors because, he got caught walking around naked and shit and was getting reported for noise. So, of course, now that they own the condo, he trying to quell it in now. But you encouraged the bullshit. You should have been stopped that shit 5 minutes ago. You seen where it was going, but you said it's going out. Now you want to stop it. So, like I've been saying this, sometimes Joe says things that I agree with, but overall I feel like this podcast is going out sad. It's unfortunate. With Mona up there, I think she's a good addition, but they definitely got too many mics in the room, too much testosterone, misguided testosterone, I'll say. And I feel like now that this has hit the net, it's only going to continue. Queen's Flip came to the internet today to even expound further on his perspective, which I found to be disingenuous as well. I'm going to pull this up. So here we have Queen's Flip. He says, just to clear the air, I was never coming at the fans. The whole mention of fans was just an example and not the main issue. The real convo was about behind the scenes stuff that got lost in the noise. It all started from something Joe said earlier about pay. And again, like I said earlier, I think there was a little bit of a reference to who deserved what in the room, which honestly should never even be the subject of conversation in this type of situation, because why are we talking about contracts, money, or anything, especially when everybody came into the show at different times, right? Parks has been at the show the longest. He's been there pretty much since the inception. Without Parks, there's no sound. From there, it's Ice and Ish who came in after the original iteration of the podcast imploded with Rory and Mal. Once they left, Ice and Ish came in. Then you got Flip. Then you got fucking Melissa Ford, who's no longer there. Then you got Mark Lamont Hill. Then you got Mona, who's there now. So everybody's going to be introduced at a different pay rate. Everybody's going to bring different background to the table, which is going to indicate their level of pay. All of those things should not be discussed in front of the viewers. It's just poor professionalism. And they've been getting away with it, and now it explodes. He then says, I got caught up in the moment, but in retrospect, I don't feel that way. It was all entertainment from my side. I think that's heavy cap. He says, I'm here to put on and go home. Team player always. Okay. Then, as more of the fans talked about this encounter, he decides to promote his YouTube, his 471 million views, his 1,000 videos, and his 1.3 million subscribers. All right. So he's the one who introduced the content over everything type of, well, that's the tagline, content over everything. So in the name of content, crash out. In the name of content, slap hamburgers out niggas' faces and hands, which he didn't do on the Joe Budden podcast. But if you know about Queen's Flip and his other stuff, seeing rappers out in public and picking them up and antagonizing them, fighting in the fucking airport, all type of shit that he done did in the name of content. You know what I'm saying? which is why I just personally don't like him. I just take him to be extremely obnoxious. You know what I mean? But there's that. All that being stated, I think Joe should focus more on what's going on inside the room. Focus on mediating the conversations better. Focus on researching his topics a bit further. Worrying about Doechii at this time, about whether or not she's putting music out while touring heavily. Preparing to tour with the biggest nigga in the game right now. The nigga who has the entire culture behind him. She's on a solo tour doing her own shit up until then. So wondering why she ain't in the release cycle right now and trying to make it seem like there's something nefarious at work. That should probably be the least of your worries, because y'all are about to have an HR nightmare up there. Y'all already had one with Melissa Ford. Pretty soon, it's going to be back to Joe, Ice, and Ish. And that iteration of the pod was garbage too. But let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider. I will catch y'all on the next one. All right? And salute to DJ Miss Milan. We were supposed to do an interview this year, but right when they were ending the first bit of Doechii's tour, they ended up booking basically the rest of the year. So maybe next year. All right? But I'll be here. I'll catch y'all in a minute, though. Peace. Yeah, family over fame in this bitch, yeah. The glory of living righteous is setting in. My street knowledge and education's a perfect blend. Young mogul, independent, I've been setting trends. The first one from my family to be faithfully wed. Fuck niggas and the horses that they riding on. I see this shit from all angles like a polygon. I'm never politicking, the drama be piling on. Father and great son acknowledged like I'm Bobby Bonds. Conversation with my lady about the paper route. 5 sit bank accounts, every day I make it count. They down talking my commentary for hating now. Well, I can take it cause I'm bodying your favorite now, please. I can do this shit in my sleep. I been writing for these niggas, y'all read it and weep. I been fighting these niggas if you speak on the street. I turn your birthday party into New Year's Eve. Don't let me take it there. We ain't playing fair. This the ATL, Southside nigga moving furniture like Wayfair. Life on hold, no insurance for your healthcare. Lifeline gone, so you wanna be a millionaire? Well, let me tell you about this world I built. The women I dodged, the niggas that I read for filth. The sympathy card